let's talk about Strawberry Fields Forever.
Yes. Lennon at his psychedelic best.
So for you listening, we're jumping straight into a track that, like, completely shattered every known law of audio engineering.
Oh, absolutely. It's just wild.
Right. It's basically the story of how two totally mismatched musical failures accidentally collided.
To create just one flawless masterpiece.
A masterpiece born out of, well, sheer stubbornness.
Totally. And to understand it, you have to picture someone completely untethered from their normal reality. So it's late 1966.
Right after they stopped touring. Right.
Exactly. The Beatles just walked off the stage at Candlestick Park for their final live concert. The era of screaming stadiums is totally dead.
So the recording studio suddenly this limitless playground for them.
Limitless. But before they even reconvene for what becomes the Sgt. Pepper era, John Lennon takes a major detour.
Oh, yeah. He goes off to Almeria, Spain.
Right, to act in a movie, How I Won the War with Michael Crawford.
Which is just such a hilarious juxtaposition. You'd assume he's living this chaotic rock star lifestyle abroad, but they're spending these intensely quiet nights in a rented house, just playing Monopoly and Risk.
I know. Imagine being at the absolute height of global fame, the most recognizable face on the planet, and you're spending your evening arguing over property lines and Monopoly.
While quietly losing your mind creatively.
That is the core of it. Because while the house is silent, John is sitting cross-legged on his bed with an acoustic guitar, and he plays the exact same musical measure over and over again.
For what, a night or two?
No, for 6 straight weeks.
Oh my God. The absolute torture of being Michael Crawford in the next room.
Seriously.
Just hearing the phrase "Strawberry Fields Forever," I'm not sure, muttered through the walls for a month and a half.
And Crawford kept telling him not to change a thing, that it sounded brilliant, but Julian is just completely trapped in his own head.
Well, you can see how deep that isolation ran when you look at the handwritten lyrics from that exact era.
Oh, the scribbles, yes.
Yeah, he scribbled out these lines with frantic crossouts, and one of them captures the feeling perfectly. He wrote, "There's no one on my wavelength. I mean, it's either too high or too low."
Which is such a raw admission of loneliness.
It really is. I mean, it's just completely heartbreaking.
And, the song takes its title from Strawberry Field, which was a real Salvation Army children's home in Woolton, Liverpool.
Right, a place he used to sneak into as a kid.
Exactly. His Aunt Mimi would constantly warn him to stay away, and he'd just look at her and say, "They can't hang you for it."
Already living completely outside the rules.
Totally. But the song was never actually about that physical garden in Woolton. The physical place was just a metaphor for existing outside of ordinary life.
All right, it's about detachment. Like when he sings, "Nothing is real."
Yes. He is laying out a philosophy of complete internal isolation.
And he didn't just leave it in his head. He literally manifested that bizarre wavelength into physical reality. Like if you're listening right now, you have to go watch the promotional film they made for this track.
Oh, it's an absolute avant-garde arts and crafts fever dream.
The visual record of this era is staggering. They go out to this gloomy field, find a massive dead tree, and just decide to turn it into a colossal stringed instrument.
It makes zero logical sense, but it's totally mesmerizing.
Yeah. They string these massive cables from the dead branches way up in the air down to this base on the ground.
And there's George Harrison.
Yes.
Standing in the middle of a field, wearing a tight black hood pulled over his head and a bright orange jacket, just deadpan plucking the strings of a dead tree.
While Ringo Starr stands nearby in profile, just, watching this bizarre ritual unfold.
Oh, but it gets better. Up in the actual dead branches, perched dangerously high, is Paul McCartney.
Wearing a yellow jacket and pristine white pants.
Yes, just posing in the tree, playing this bizarre red bar covered in gold balls.
And then you add in a shot of someone playing an upright piano outdoors, but the whole thing is drenched in this harsh orange negative filter.
And layered over everything, you have these transparent, double-exposed images of John Lennon's face.
With those round glasses, just floating like a specter over the web of strings.
It is the literal embodiment of nothing is real. He took a feeling of isolation and turned it into a haunted tree concert.
But, okay, here is the massive problem. He's visualized this surreal, rule-breaking world. How do you force a rigid, traditional 1966 recording studio to bend to that vision?
You'd think they'd just lay down pure chaos.
Right. You walk into EMI Studios on November 24th expecting noise.
But take one is entirely unexpected. John sits down at a mellotron. It's gentle, acoustic, and just steeped in melancholy.
And the mellotron is crucial here because it plays back loops of analog tape, simulating strings and flutes.
Exactly, giving the whole track this otherworldly, delicate intimacy.
But knowing John Lennon's state of mind, there is no way he accepts take one.
He demands they keep going. So, by November 29th, they hit take 7. The producer, George Martin, has completely transformed the track.
He's written an elaborate score, right?
Yeah, adding trumpets and cellos. It has grown from a quiet meditation into a dramatic, sweeping piece of music. Everyone in the control room thinks they've captured lightning in a bottle.
And John scraps it.
Completely. Tosses it out. Tells them to start over from scratch.
Which kicks off another massive wave of recording sessions. They grind all the way to December 21st and finally arrive at take 26.
And this one is wildly different from the others. It is lush, heavily orchestrated, and incredibly cinematic.
Everyone listens back and declares it a masterpiece.
Then John Lennon drops the bomb.
Oh, boy.
He pulls George Martin aside and says, he's changed his mind. He likes take 7. But he also likes take 26.
So what's his solution?
He wants to simply combine them. He wants the first half of take 7 to transition seamlessly into the second half of take 26.
Okay, put yourself in George Martin's shoes for a second. You don't have digital software. You don't have like a pitch correction plug-in on a laptop.
No, you have a physical reel of magnetic tape.
And what John is asking for is an absolute nightmare.
The math makes it impossible. Take 7 was recorded in the key of B-flat major at a tempo of 90 beats per minute.
Okay.
Take 26 was recorded in C major at 108 beats per minute.
So they were a whole tone apart in pitch and a 20% difference in speed.
Exactly.
That's like bringing a mechanic the front half of a bicycle and the back half of a helicopter, demanding they be welded together in the middle and just expecting the whole contraption to somehow take flight.
Huh. Right. You are asking two completely different physical laws to cooperate. So George Martin resorts to pure British sarcasm.
Naturally.
He explains the massive differences in key and tempo, essentially telling John that short of defying the laws of physics, it can't be done.
And I love John's reaction to this. He doesn't argue. He doesn't try to understand the science. He just smiles, looks at his producer, says, "I'm sure you can fix it, can't you?" and literally walks out of the room.
The audacity to drop a mathematical paradox in someone's lap and go get a cup of tea.
Leaving Martin and his recording engineer, Jeff Emmerich, just staring at a tape machine.
Because they are bound by the unbending rule of 1966 analog tape, pitch and tempo are permanently locked together.
Right. You speed up the tape to match the faster tempo, the pitch rises.
You slow the tape down, the pitch drops.
You get the chipmunk effect if you go fast, and the slow motion deep voice effect if you go slow. There's no uncoupling them.
But Martin and Emmerich decide to run the calculations anyway, just to see how disastrous it would be.
Okay, so take 7 is too slow and too low. Take 26 is too fast and too high.
Right.
Wait. If take 7 is too slow and too low, they have to speed it up. And if take 26 is too fast and too high, they have to slow it down.
And that is when they discover the miracle. Speeding up take 7 and slowing down take 26 required almost the exact same proportional adjustment.
Wait, are you telling me that by sheer luck, the speed adjustment needed to match the tempo perfectly corrected the gap in the pitch?
They met exactly in the middle. Speeding one up and slowing the other down brought both completely distinct versions into flawless alignment in both key and tempo simultaneously.
The odds of that are staggering. You have two totally different musical organisms recorded a full month apart with entirely different instruments and vibes, and they secretly hold the exact mathematical DNA to cure each other's flaws.
It is a literal mathematical miracle, but they still have to execute the splice. Jeff Emmerich has to perform the physical cut at exactly the 1-minute mark in the song.
Right.
And to hide the seam, he gradually speeds up take 7 so smoothly as it plays that your ear never even registers the acceleration.
Which means the moment we cross that splice into take 26, the tape is running significantly slower than it was originally recorded.
Yes. And that is the defining secret of the entire track. Because take 26 was slowed down, it artificially lowered the pitch of John Lennon's vocal.
It gave his voice that heavy, lethargic, smoky quality.
Exactly.
So that dreamlike, hypnotic back half of the track, that feeling of wading through a dense psychedelic fog, wasn't some genius creative effect they planned.
No, it was just the tape machine running slow to fix a math problem. The signature sound of the song was a byproduct of a technical compromise. Wow. And when they finally stitched this Frankenstein creation together, they played it for John. Martin actually blocked John's view of the tape machine so he couldn't see the edit point approaching.
Sneaky.
The splice at the 1-minute mark passes. John listens for a few more seconds, looks up, and asks, Has it passed yet?
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to.
He couldn't even hear it.
He spent the rest of the night listening to it over and over again, and after every single listen, he just kept repeating, brilliant. Just brilliant.
I mean, when you step back and look at the philosophy behind this, it's just incredible. John spent 6 weeks in Spain wrestling with isolation. He threw away perfectly good recordings. He demanded something that logic, engineering, and rational producers told him was mechanically impossible.
He trusted his stubborn instinct over established science. He completely refused to accept good enough.
And sometimes, if you are stubborn enough to demand the impossible, the universe, or the underlying math of audio physics, has a funny way of resolving itself for you. 2 mismatched recordings finding the exact proportion to become perfect. It gives a whole new weight to the lyric. Nothing to get hung about.
Exactly.
Until next time.
When your mind conducts its own symphony. Hey, by the way, everyone, we've collected some of our favorite Beatles treasures on our Amazon storefront.
Yes, it's a great way to support this channel and to get a good deal on some Beatles merch. The link is in the video description and the first comment.
Right. And if you've got a browser handy, you can just to BeatlesRewindBook.com, and that will get you to our Amazon store.